Me and Mheshimiwa here, we don't even have the capacity to verify whether the post office in this Republic of Kenya, they have the VSAT or they have their equipment. We don't have it. But let me put it this way. And I want to say, I congratulate my brother here for playing the ball very well. He says the ball has been dropped. The ball has not been dropped. And I'll tell you what.
Okay.
My good brother here is a combination of Maradona, Messi, and Ronaldo.
Thank you.
Couldn't get it better.
Thank you. Thank you.
He can play good ball.
You can get a better player than him. But the point is, the ball is still in the hands of the Kenyans. Because you're talking about who ultimately pays for these obligations. And this is what is incensing Kenyans. They're being incensed that yes, we have leadership that put us there in the situation where we are in, and we have to pay. The day you drop the ball is when you meet your obligations. And this is why it is very, very important that for the future, and this, my good friend is in the Senate, for the future, all international obligations of Kenya must be tabled both at the National Assembly and they must be tabled at the Senate.
Yes.
Before they are signed in draft form, so that the kind of ping-pong game that is being played at this point in time will never be played.
So in this one, we safely tell Kenyans that we've lost. Is that what you're saying?
The ball is still there. I mean, it's being played.
But we've already paid the money.
Yes, but no. You see, the thing is this. We talked about 18 contracts. We don't know how many of those contracts. He has mentioned about New York, isn't it? He talked about New York.
Yes.
There's a case in New York, and what have you. So the ball is not dropped. What we are imagining as Kenyans is that it doesn't exist. But I can tell you, the obligations still exist. What we need to do as Kenyans right now, in my opinion, is we must be vigilant henceforth.
So Kenyans, just to help Kenyans realize this,
Yes.
out of all those 18 contracts, whatever ghosts that show up in the next few weeks or years or months or years or whatever it is,
Yes.
President Uhuru Kenyatta will have the same obligation to pay.
Okay, well, if the judgment...
You would have said
let me say, if the... No. You see, the thing is not a question of precedent here. It's a question of saying, if the court, if the plaintiffs, who may have signed the contract with the Republic of Kenya, they are able to convince any judge or judges, and we are not able to persuade the judges to throw those cases out, and the obligations come, we still have to pay the obligation. And that's why I'm saying, under our new constitutional dispensation, and Mheshimiwa here, I'm sure he's going to take it up, they can even have a law that no contract that involves public expenditure. And if you look at the article, chapter 12 on public finance, very closely, you will realize that there is a lot of powers that have been donated to the National Assembly and the Senate as far as oversight of expenditure of public resources is concerned.
Let's talk about consequences a little bit here. And the president, in that speech on Thursday, he did talk about the fact that fresh investigations, EACC says they've hit the ground running, the DPP is coming into play. Do you have confidence that with these new investigations, this new process, that at some point Kenyans will see some convictions, some people brought to book? In as far as this, or is it just saying because it's a good thing, sounds good to say that?
That is a statement which is political. The president is saying that, and with all due respect, I see some of the pronouncements from the executive, they border on propaganda. Instead of leading the country, you want to say things more or less like we say in a political rally when we are looking for votes. That period has ended. That is nothing, because all the investigations that you ever wanted to do
Were done.
locally and internationally were done. The evidence is there. The president, if he so wishes, could have taken action. He is not going to take action. It's an attempt to ask Kenyans in a clever way, let us move on. Kenyans, because Tuge said it yesterday, the PS, the money has been wired. It's gone. You can't rewire it back. It's gone. So now what the country should now be asking itself, what should we do? We, as members of parliament, I am convinced that at the end of the day, when Public Accounts Committee is done, it will recommend that whoever paid be surcharged, and if he's not surcharged so as to, and he doesn't have the capacity, he will be jailed. That's going to come. I can predict. The other one is that the president is going to be held to account. That, Mr. President, thank you very much, you paid. But now that you paid, we are not happy with you. There are two ways they are going to deal with him. Either wananchi will face him in 2017 and tell him that go home and go kapisa, because we can't trust you with managing our resources.
So you also don't have confidence,
Yes. Otherwise, to go to small things like ethics and anti-corruption commission, it's gone.
Okay.
It has bolted. The horse has bolted.
The horse has bolted. Just about to finish in 5 minutes. On to a final thought from Simon, who's insisting on calling us. Simon, good morning.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. What is your thoughts and opinion this morning about Anglo leasing?
Okay, mine is just to say, like, the government keeps on, the opposition keeps on blaming the government.
Yes.
And you know, this thing has started since before. So I was asking, why can the opposition work with the government to bring these culprits so that we know who are the people who are dealing with Anglo leasing?
We already know them.
And they start paying. Because you see, the government is acting right now according to the evidence how.
So Simon, hang on. Let me just cut it short. Are you saying that the government does not know who they're dealing with Anglo leasing and they need opposition to help them? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that they don't know. They know.
Okay.
But the opposition is not supposed to keep on pushing them on the wall. They are supposed to work together, because some of the people who signed these deals are in the opposition. So they're supposed to work together and help Kenyans instead of them playing blame games. You know, as Kenyans, we want to know the truth. And if each party will start playing blame games, there's never a day that we'll know the truth.
Simon, thank you very much. Bonnie,
yes.
Is the opposition not just throwing tantrums and balls, as opposed to, helping the government to sort out a genuine problem?
It's so difficult for me to speak authoritatively on this, because then viewers can think I'm advancing our case for removal of President Uhuru so that our side takes over.
Yes.
That's not the case, because the problem is just to an extent as much with us as it is with Jubilee. There are some bad people on our side and some bad people on that side. But because the buck stops with the president, we would like the president to take action. Then we will be supporting him that even if the person you are pursuing is on our side, chukua, enda na yeye.
We'll give you that. Let's final thoughts as we went.
I think to me what we really should be addressing as a nation is impunity from whatever quarter must not be tolerated by Kenyans. And nobody should be above the law. And more importantly, and this is something that I really want to appeal to my brother here and the other people who are with him in the parliament. Why can't we pass a law in this country to state two things?
Yes.
One, if we have any case of corruption that you have been charged with, the time frame during which you will be judged is maximum 6 months. 6 months. And that is achievable. Why? When the new constitution was passed, the petitions of the court of the elections from the petitions were capped at 1 year, and the court has done a superbly good job. So when we are talking about corruption in this country, we need to come up with a law that says the court, from the time you are charged to the time delivery of judgment will take place, is not more than 6 months. That is one. Two, they can also come up with a law, and even amendment of the constitution, to provide, if you are found to have corruptly received 1 shilling, 1 shilling and above, all your assets are seized by the state. They become the property of the state. Okay. Let me tell you, you will kill corruption immediately. Right. That's one thing I can assure you. But that is what I would like to recommend to my brother here, who I know is very articulate, to persuade his brothers and sisters in the parliament, both the National Assembly and the Senate. Let us not tie Kenyans by going to these rallies or defending in the television or doing whatever it is, because we are not solving the problem. What we are dealing with here in this country is the problem of impunity.
Finally, I want your quick comment on this, because as we wind this up, lawyers had moved to court to stop payment, clearly not knowing it had already been done.
Yes.
And so they were saying that a judgment that forces people of Kenya to pay corrupt deals is contrary to public policy. What happens to that now? Does it become a nullity that they moved to court?
You see, the moment you go to court, you don't ask judges to make a judgment in vain. If it has already been paid.
Well, they didn't know at the time of moving to court. Now that they have,
it is, okay, they may have to look for another course of action. Okay. I'm a member of the Law Society, and all I can tell you, the moment you go to court, you go to court for what we call course of action.
Okay.
What is the reason why you're going to court?
So they have to change.
If you're going to court for money to be stopped and the money has already been paid, they have to look for another reason to maybe prosecute somebody.
My thoughts on that are that the court process by LSK has now been overtaken.
Okay.
Having been overtaken, what LSK can do is to support Parliament, and there are many ways they do this. We work with them all the time to support Parliament in addressing the matter, because as far as Parliament is concerned, Parliament has not run out of options. Finally, the issue you have raised about statutes, that we make new laws. It's true, but you know, we have some of the beautiful laws on those shelves of ours. Beautiful to deal with corruption. What is lacking is the will, the political will to make sure that those laws work. And it is that lack of political will that has been demonstrated by Professor Githu Muigai and been demonstrated by His Excellency the President. If they had just had the will to have those laws work, they wouldn't have paid. They would have defended us in court.
Let me just
end there.
Let me finish this.
Yes.
We must end. Our time is up.
Yes.
Because the will is subjective.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm talking about is objectivity. When you have a law, you cannot escape it. What you need to say, within 6 months of you being charged, you'll be judged either guilty or innocent.
All right. Karanja Kabage, Advocate of the High Court, Mheshimiwa Boni Halwale, Senator Kakamega County, with us this morning. Thank you so much. Great conversation and tweets
Indeed.
as well.
Yes.
Saying the same. My co-host.
Bob Jamo says Karanja Kabage and Boni Halwale, the bullfighter, have told us in 30 minutes. The government was not able to tell us in 14 years.
I love this.
Yes.
That takes it home.
True.
I need you in the Senate.
You should. Go together. Shannon Muganzi says truth is right. Franklin Kyoko, though, asking who is Kabage defending, he should tell Kenyans the truth. Wesley Kerich says, I love the Anglo leasing argument on Morning Express. Maramba says they've talked about a whole lot of balls. Even Messi and Ronaldo would perhaps have been able to understand this whole Anglo leasing conversation from that. And very George Kisundi, finally, exhaustively informative issue, aptly discussed by Halwale and Kabage Anglo leasing. Gentlemen, thank you very much.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
They made us drink water.
Continue to have your seats. Thank you very much also for watching, for those who called in, for tweeting, being part of our conversation this morning. Always a pleasure. We'll see you again tomorrow. Have a blessed day.